Good morning, you guys. Another beautiful morning on the homestead. I'm just doing some of the morning chores, and today we're just going to be haphazardly covering the fruit trees because we have a late frost coming in this week. Of course, they're pretty notorious, and this year we got kind of lucky. It doesn't seem like we have the fruit trees coming in as early and as much late frost. Hopefully this is the last one, but it's supposed to get down to 30 at night, maybe 28. So I'm not incredibly prepared. I have about 25 fruit trees on the property. That includes some blueberry bushes too. Mainly the peach trees, plum trees, and a couple pear have opened. The apples and pomegranate and most of my pear have not opened yet or put buds out. So I'm not gonna worry too much. We have one bigger peach tree here. That one I'm gonna try to put a big blanket over. So I don't have a bunch of fabric this year. I kind of was not really, it wasn't high priority on my list because these trees are still young and I'm just trying to let them grow before I worry too much about fruit. Obviously, if you guys have fruit trees on your property or planting fruit trees, you know they are a lot of work and they're sometimes difficult to manage between pests, late freezes, and just bugs. Last year we had June beetles totally demolish everything in June, which I don't think is the end of the world because we had a second flush after that. But we did have a late frost last year too, so no fruit to be had. So this year I'm just gonna take some blankets and sheets that I found through the house and just choose a couple trees to cover. And again, this isn't even gonna reach the ground really, it's just to cover the main thing and then hopefully tie underneath all the foliage on the tree. So I'm just going to pick some of the best looking trees that have come up and get those covered so you guys can kind of watch what we do there. And then yesterday, I was excited to start tearing down the inner fence on our garden now that we have the deer fence up and kind of cleaning along the bank here. There's our extension cord that runs out to the greenhouse. So that's always something to keep an eye on when I'm mowing, but it's starting to look really, really beautiful not having that fence. I have a couple more in the back, T-posts and fence to take down, but now we have great access to the beds. And then even some apple trees here in the rows. So after this late frost, I'm gonna try to get the rest of the stuff in the greenhouse planted. I didn't want to jump too early just because I don't have any more fabric this year to line the beds with, fleece. So next year I'll have some more ordered and hopefully of better quality. I'm gonna look into Farmer's Friend and what they offer. I bought just off Amazon this year, which is cheap and affordable, but it's super, super thin mesh and it tore very easily. So, and just while we're here, I guess I can kind of quickly talk about that. The mesh, the fleece, is wonderful for just when you move stuff out early, you can just lay the fabric right on top. Something I saw Charles Dowding do as well that is, I kind of wish I did more of this year, and is partially the reason why my fabric ripped, is in the beginning when you put those seedlings in, you just want to lay the fabric right on top. You can use bricks or stone or anything you have to keep it down. But you don't need to hoop it in the beginning when the plants are so young. This helps keep in the heat and avoid that late frost or any early frost. But with the hoops, if you get high wind, a lot of times that's going to rip. So here I'll show you where I did some of the hooping, and these are beets, and I'll show you guys, and then my carrots as well. It all ripped. So I'm going to use what's left of that to cover the fruit trees for tonight, and then put a new mesh on top of these just for tomorrow. And then hopefully soon we'll be taking all of this off. Over here, you'll see I kind of tidied up the black plastic a little bit. This is where the next row of beds are going in, and some of the cardboard from Facebook Marketplace. And again, a lot of that fence back here is down. I also have some overhead irrigation on the way that I'm excited about, which should cover most of the space. I think it's like a 30 by 100 foot space with the 5 wobblers they send in the kit. So that should really cover most of this. And outside for now, I'm going to do overhead. And then when we get the cat tunnel or inside the greenhouse with tomatoes and things that don't like as much moisture on the foliage, we'll do drip. So for now, the beauty of having the overhead is that it's going to cover all these outer mounds with the fruit trees and the herbs and stuff. So we can just get a wide coverage on all of that. So I just wanted to show you guys those carrots and the beets since some of this fleece got ripped off. I'm not going to tear up all the other fleece today that we have, but once I do, I'll show you guys all the other stuff that we've planted. And again, this is just into about 6 to 8 inches of compost. Underneath this is the cardboard, and underneath that is where we had the plastic and the grass originally. So plastic came off because we try to limit any plastic use. So you can also use silage tarps, which are a little heavier duty. But this plastic is working for us for now. So kill down that grass, lay the cardboard, 6 to 8 inches of compost, and then each year in the fall we'll top it with more compost. I don't use any amendments yet as of now, but I'm kind of debating if I'm going to try any of that stuff here. I kind of want to see how some of this grows this year. So everything out right now is just spring stuff that I know that even under fleece will be okay for the most part. And again, we're going to deal with the fruit trees today. So it's a beautiful day today. You'd be fooled to think that there was any cold weather coming, but it is coming. Okay, so here we are in the front orchard. I did a couple on the side too, but I'm just taking all the sheets we have and blankets and whatnot and just covering as many of the buds as we can, and then tying those with a Ziploc at the base. And again, I'm just going to focus on the ones that have put out the most buds because we don't have an endless amount of blankets and sheets, but a lot of these peach trees came up early because of the early warmth. So I'm just going to cover what I can, and then one of my primary focuses will be the biggest fruit tree or peach tree we have, which is about 4 or 5 years old. I'm just going to try to cover that with our biggest sheet, so I'll keep you guys posted. Okay, so that's it for the front orchard. I've got 3 towels left and a big old blanket. So I got quite a few of the peach trees, a pear tree that was budding. One peach tree has to go out on its own. The blueberry bushes are gonna have to go. So I'm not sure they're gonna make it, but we got our plum trees. And then I have 3 towels here for these itty bitty new peach trees. So we'll try those. And then again, my big goal, because I know this one is producing fruit, is this, I think it's about 4 or 5 years old, this peach tree that was on the property when we bought it. So it's a beautiful peach tree, and I've seen pits. The year we moved in, it was after summer, but there was peach pits on the ground. So I know it produces, we just need to get it covered. So I'll just do the best I can, and any few amount of buds saved will count. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, little one's covered. And now we just have this monster to do here. And this is probably the max I would be able to get a sheet over anyway, unless I bought the proper fabric. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab our biggest blanket and try to not damage too much of the tree. Just cover that up and tie it with a Ziploc and we'll be good to go. So now it looks like we have a bunch of odd looking colorful figures on the property. But that's okay. Hopefully we'll save a little bit of fruit this year. Okay, well, that sheet was not as big as I thought it was. So a portion of the tree is gonna have a sheet on it for tonight, and then I might be able to steal some of the mesh from the garden that I pulled back from those carrots and those beets, and maybe I'll try to do another little section of this. That might work. But for now, I'm not gonna stress out too much on this. The trees are still young. We'd like to get them to a point where they're really getting the good foliage and growth on them at the base first. And then we'll worry more about the fruit. In the coming years, I can get more appropriate protection for these. But I thought I'd give it a shot this year since we're almost to our last frost date, and we just have this one day coming in. So I'll update you guys on how all this goes.